My name's Tyler. I've been the event chair. This will be my second year. I've been relaying for a while. I have my own personal reasons why I do this. My grandmother was diagnosed with stomach cancer and passed away many, many years ago, so that's kind of what motivates me to do this each year. But I want to introduce somebody up here who has a pretty amazing story. We have a survivor with us. His name is Andre. I'd like to welcome him up here.
Yay.
No. Yeah, he's not the bouncer.
Hello. Hi. Gotcha. So I just want to let you know a vote for me is a vote for wrong speech. Okay, sorry about that. My other speech was a little depressing, so I'm like, we're not going to go with that because that's kind of like the Hallmark movie in my life. I don't want too many tears. I was giving a little pep speech in the back, basically Andre. So really, the event today is to kind of kick up the energy and get you guys excited about the Relay for Life event, right? That's what I'm here for. Okay, so. Figure that kind of works. I can't do that with a jacket on. Get a little too hot, so we gotta get this. I can sell it. You let me know. I got a great used car and some ice. I know it's cold, but I got some good ice for you. So just want to give you a little story about myself. Again, my name is Andre DeJesus. I'm actually a market human resource manager for Walmart. So what that means is I get to drive to all the stores in San Bernardino County, got a couple stores in Los Angeles County, and really just make sure that Walmart's taking care of their people, we're following the laws, and all that kind of stuff. So a couple of the key components about that makes it a little bit weird and makes me a little unique is the driving part. Well, cancer has done a lot of damage to me. I'm actually legally blind. So you see this lovely little scar right here. About 8 years ago, I was sitting in my office at the Apple Valley Transportation office, and I was kind of stretching, and I kind of had a pop in the back of my head. Next thing you know, a little gray bubble was kind of my left eye. And it started getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I'm like, I just need more sleep, I just need to get some eye drops in, I just need to do something a little different. Well, eventually I finally went to the doctor and said, something's not right. Next thing I know, I have my ophthalmologist yelling at somebody on the phone. I'm like, oh, that's not good. And they said, you're going to go down and you're going to do an MRI. Going to call the next day and say, hey, something's growing is in your brain, optic nerve. Okay, whatever. Go see a doctor. They say, you know what? It's this probably cluster of cells. It happens all the time. We'll go in, take it out, and you'll be perfectly fine. Well, next thing I know, they peel my face off. They go in. I wake up. They go, ooh, something's wrong. We couldn't go in and get it because it's actually in your optic nerve, not under like we hoped. So I'm like, yay. So go do a little part of it. They actually were able to do a biopsy. Next thing I know, they say, hey, we got to schedule you to do radiation. It's asteroid, some of the other, long word I can't explain. I'm not smart enough to deal with it, but it's really, really bad. It's going to continue to grow more and more and more. So we did what's called radio arc therapy. I got to go live down in Los Angeles for about 6 months, sit in a little chair, get strapped down, have this cool little mask made in there, and they put me on a little table, and they zap me with a lot of radiation. So me, before I got sick, I was always cold. I was scrawny, 110 pounds, and I just hated the cold. I'm Puerto Rican. I like it hot and humid. That's what I like. Yeah, give me that. So the radiation, some of the side effects is I now no longer feel cold. So I was like, yes, give me that. But it didn't work. So after the radiation, it shrunk a little bit, then it got even more aggressive. So that ticked it off, basically. So then at that point, they set me up with a doctor says, hey, we're doing some experimental treatments, and this is something that is not FDA approved, but we've seen that this type of chemotherapy is done really, really good for your type of brain cancer. So at that point, when you hear the chemotherapy word, it hits you hard. It hits you extremely hard, especially being a young individual, 2 kids, but ultimately, hey, I'm a fighter, always have been, always will be, and gave that a try. So 6 months of needle and taking pills. After that, they said, you know what, it's working, and then it stopped working, and it actually doubled in size. So at that point, I said, you know what, give me a summer of no chemotherapy. I need to be able to enjoy summertime. I was able to go back, and they said, you know what, it actually went in half. And it went in half and went in half, and long story short, boom, all the cells completely died and went away. Right? That's what I'm saying. So really one of the things is, and I want to make sure I want to speak to y'all about is, what is it that you do that can affect someone like me? Two main reasons. Time and money. We talk about which one's more important. Honestly, I can't tell you which is more important to you. I can't tell you which is more important to me. For me, it's time. But I have more time because of money. When you raise money, that allows my doctor, who is working on a drug that's not FDA approved, to hopefully eventually get that approved, so people like me can hopefully have the same results that I had, that allows me to live a longer life. So money, very, very important when you're doing your fundraising. That's how you're helping me. For me, time was really much more important, because obviously having a longer life, that's self-explanatory. But minutes count. So I talked about doing chemotherapy. Hopefully you never, ever, ever have to deal with that. It is the most depressing and just vile thing you can ever do. So I have Kaiser, and in the Kaiser facility in Fontana, they have that room. And the chemo chairs is this whole kind of bottom floor. It's this tan, khaki-colored pleather leather. The smell is that sterile, like rubbing alcohol kind of smell, and it's just, it stays with you forever. I don't care what sense goes away, you will never forget that feeling, that smell, that feeling of just everyone sitting there, the sound of the room, you hear the beeps of the machines that's feeding it through, you hear the pumps, you can just feel it. I will never ever lose that memory. So when you're sitting there, you have a needle in your arm, and you have to be there for an hour. You know this machine is pumping poison into your body to try to kill this cancer thing. It just is tough to take it from you. So one of these days, I was getting chemotherapy. I was kind of sitting there, just kind of waiting to be done. And a gentleman by the name of John, he kind of was walking around, handing magazines to different people, and I'm like, I wonder what he's doing. So he comes up to me, and I always wear my badge, and I forgot I was working that day, so I have my Yankee badge on. Big Yankee fan. Woo! Right? Makes sense. If you're not a Yankee, I understand that everyone's into winning. It is what it is. But being a Yankee fan, he walks up and he says, Yankees, I had a tough season. I said, yeah, definitely is a tough season. And we start talking about baseball and sports and some other things. The conversation maybe have lasted about 5 minutes about that sports. So we talk about time. That 5 minutes felt like hours to me. I was no longer sitting in a chair with a needle, getting pumped with this poison. For me, I was, in my mind, chatting with a best friend in my backyard. It took me away from that moment. That time, that way you can do by volunteering. So if you don't have money, you don't have to give money. Your time is so much more valuable than you can imagine. I wasn't, again, sitting there doing that. I was somewhere else for that 5 minutes, but it felt like almost forever. And so I really asked him, I said, Wayne, what really brings you here to talking about? And he says, you know what, I'm a volunteer for the American Cancer Society. My sister passed about 2 years from cancer, and she shared a story with me about how sitting in this chair was just so lonely and such a bad thing, that she wished that she had someone to talk to her, keep her distracted from this situation and this deal. So what I do now is about once a week when I have the time, I just come around and I just like to talk to people, hand out magazines, just chit-chat about absolutely anything. And hopefully that'll make something and make an impact on somebody's life. So when I start talking about that time and that money, both are extremely, extremely important. But it's up to you on what you can give, and it doesn't always have to be money. So with coming here today, volunteering your time, because this is, again, sometimes taking you away from your families, taking you away from maybe the television or something else that you want to do. I just want to truly thank you for what you do, because for me, I've been able to be influenced by both things that you do. The money that's allowed me to take the medication that's put me where I'm at today, and is why I'm here today, and then the time to help distract me to have a better life, to be positive, to make sure that I have that energy to make sure that you guys are able to do what you continue doing. So thank you so very much for being here. Thank you very much for what you do for us in the community, whether it's for a family, a friend, a family friend of a friend, a neighbor, whatever it is, it does make a difference. So if you ever think it doesn't, give me a call. I'll tell you and remind you that you do. So thank you all very, very much. Appreciate it.